A vampire.
This might be the most confused Dracula movie ever made. And somehow I still liked it. It's been accused of being unoriginal, unfocused, not really doing anything new. And yeah, that's all accurate. But the thing is, despite all this, I've never really seen a Dracula movie quite like this one. It's not horror, it's a tragic romance, where Dracula is less of a monster and more of an immortal with god issues. Emotional one moment and intentionally hilarious the next, and on occasion so ridiculous you feel it must have been written as a joke.
That's chaos theory.
The question isn't whether Dracula is good or bad, it's how a movie this fucked up can still be wildly compelling. If right down the middle, purely divisive was the end goal, I don't think it could have gotten closer. The way I see it, it comes down to, did you still enjoy the movie? And despite the number of things wrong with it, I can't say that I didn't. In this case, the base story isn't altered too much. You have Dracula, brilliantly played by Caleb Landry Jones, who upon losing his dear love interest decides he will no longer serve God, delivers a defining message to God. It's a whole new spin on Don't Kill the Messenger, a scene that he completely owns. His goal then becomes finding his love again, believing she must be reincarnated given her purity, and the fact that he's immortal and living on human blood now becomes a defining factor in that journey. And one thing you'll notice is Dracula is no longer a monster, and more so a tragic lover. Yeah, he still bites people, drinks human blood, by no means a hero, but he's definitely more sympathetic in this version, and I really like that. It makes sense as he does feel betrayed by God, losing what he loves the most, and not even being allowed to die. So the sympathetic version who only wants back what he lost is an effective take on it. The way Jones plays it is a big factor here. It's intense, memorable, it takes on a lot of different tones, and it's the exact opposite of The Rock negotiating a brand deal. Easily one of, if not the best things about the movie, he shows off despair, anguish, in many cases comedy, and he does it fluently. The combination of him and Christoph Waltz, who is always nice to see, it's a combination I can get behind. I also really enjoyed Matilda DeAngelis as Mary, adding a lot of charismatic charm despite not being the most prominent in the movie. I can't say anybody else really stood out, but nobody's phoning it in either. The performances are a definite highlight that held my attention. Speaking of attention, you can't deny the visual appeal and beautifully crafted Gothic setting. This comes through in a number of scenes, is amazing to look at, and you again have my man Danny Elfman behind the score. Like I've said many times, that can't be missed. You hear it, you know what it is. It's safe to say the film is visually striking, in many ways ambitious, but that's when we get to the problem with the movie. Or problems. There's kind of a few of them, and as a somewhat defender of this, I can't argue it's a complete mess. That's just factual. You get a lot of elements in this, it's heavy on romance, it's by default fantasy. I'd argue it's not horror at all, maybe slightly, but it's relatively big on comedy. Maybe even unintentionally so. You get genuinely funny scenes when a certain character is about to be killed, but hardly even upset about it. I don't think that's the tone they were going for. And the moment when Dracula tries to off himself over and over again, even though he knows it's clearly not working, is comedic, even if it's not supposed to be. Even when we have Christoph Waltz, it's obviously gonna have a funny moments, that's unavoidable. But in some cases, it's hard to take certain things seriously. Like the comedy kind of overrides everything else. That's why horror this definitely isn't, but I don't know if it's a case of the movie not knowing what it is. More so a somewhat unusual direction of campy fun and being emotionally engaging. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean the story is perfect, and while I do like it enough, it's derivative, and cliché, and oddly paced.
This is a disaster.
I don't completely mind the inconsistencies, the clichés are what they are, but it does go in a direction that ranges from predictable to just almost awkward. What I mean by that is you get to a certain point in the movie when Dracula finally gets what he desires, but it happens too easily. Then it comes to a conclusion too quickly. The ending is a huge tonal shift and not the best thing either. I do kind of like the music number, I think it fits given it's this movie, but a lot of the enjoyment doesn't come in wondering what's gonna happen next. I'm not saying you know what it's gonna be, you just don't care that much. You might care about the gaming channel, it's linked down below. You'll find various gaming content there with a more consistent variety than this movie. Like I said, Derivative couldn't be a truer statement. It does feel like a remix Dracula opposed to something new. But at the same time, when it all comes together, there is no other Dracula movie quite like this, even if no one thing is all that new. The bizarre plot elements and being unintentionally funny gives this movie more of an identity than Sam Worthington these days. Some stuff is just plain bad, like the corny dialogue and CGI gargoyles. Completely takes you out of any scene they're in, destroys the climax, in my opinion, and I can't say said climax leaves me that satisfied. The acting holds up, but there's a sense of not caring by then, like it had to be there. It's where the messy comes in. It's safe to say Dracula is very problematic, but in the same vein, I don't know how it couldn't be. Given the direction they took, and it's the only way it could be done. It doesn't make it okay, it needed more polishing, some elements are just plain bad. At the end of the day, if you enjoy the movie, if you had fun watching it, then it's not bad. It's not perfect, it could have been way better. You don't get too much out of it. It's an adaptation unlike any other Dracula adaptation, even if it really isn't, given how badly this could have gone. And that's good enough for me.
Could have been worse, John. A lot worse.
Were it seen in the theater, maybe. The atmosphere alone, it could lead to a good time. If so, let me know what you thought about Dracula down in the comments. Now, like the video, subscribe down below, and share it if you can, and hit the bell to get notified because recommendations are literally destroyed. And I mean that. I'm the cinema analyst because somebody has to be.